Are you serious? Are you serious? A total eclipse of the sun. That's exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. The sun will become dark over all of Europe, over the North Pole. It's going to happen on March 20th, the spring equinox, a super moon. Are you serious? The first day of the month of Nisan of the Jewish calendar, and the CERN in Switzerland will be shadowed in the darkness of the eclipse while it cranks its collider to the speed of almost the speed of light, colliding protons. All of this coming together tomorrow. Is this the end of the world? Well, I don't think so, but I will say this. It is definitely a significant moment, especially when you know we've already had two blood moons on the four blood moon tetrad, and we have two more to go. And Israel just elected its leader. They're keeping Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is totally against an Iranian nuke deal and is totally against a two-state solution, putting the whole world on edge in this apocalyptic, cataclysmic, end-time scenario that's building. And there's no question about it. Matter of fact, can I read to you 3 verses from the Bible? And then let me read to you historically what the solar eclipse has meant in history. First of all, Jesus was on the cross, dying for the sins of the world, for the atonement of mankind in Matthew chapter 27. Some of the scribes and Pharisees come by and begin to say these words. They said, likewise, in verse 41, this is Matthew 27:41. Likewise also the chief priest, mocking him with the scribes and the elders, said, he saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the king of Israel, let him come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now, from the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And my Hebrew is not very good. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? For 3 hours, the sun became dark as sackcloth of hair. Now, I was on the phone last night, 45 minutes with Gil Broussard. And he will be my guest this coming Sunday night live. Gil Broussard, he has new information, and his information has to do with why the solar eclipse was only 3 hours when Christ was on the cross, yet the plagues of Egypt in the Exodus, why it was 3 days. And in both cases, it is historical records recorded by both the Chinese and the Jews that a phenomenon was taking place in the heavens, a sign in the heavens, which appears to have been Planet X, or Nibiru, or Planet 7X, or the dwarf star, whatever you want to call it. And he explains why, at one time as it passed, it caused darkness over the land for 3 days, but then when it passes during the time of Christ's crucifixion, it only darkened the land for 3 hours. And there's a scientific explanation for that now. And then he talks about the coming Planet 7X, the Planet X that's coming. And I've asked him to give me some dates. When will it come into the galactical plane, the orbital plane of the Earth? And when will we see it? And how long will it be visible from the earth? And there's several other questions we have. He is ready to answer. And so don't miss Sunday Night Live. Sunday Night Live at my website, www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. That's www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. I'll have Gil Broussard as my guest. Now, let me just tell you something else going on. There are some Christian ministers saying that the end of the world is upon us with this eclipse. Many on the internet are worried that Friday's solar eclipse is a sign of the end times or a message of judgment from God. And while the theories are largely speculative, they are encouraged by a genuine collision of three rare significant celestial events, which I just shared with you. That is, a total eclipse of the sun, a supermoon, and the spring equinox. But I add more to that. The first day of Nisan of the Jewish calendar, and the CERN cranked up to almost the speed of light, and the collision of protons deep, deep, deep underground there in Geneva, Switzerland, as the Earth encounters the darkness. Are you saved? You don't want to miss this broadcast coming up Sunday night. Also, don't forget ancient Greeks. Let me just tell you one thing. The Babylonians and the ancient Chinese were able to predict solar eclipses as far back as 2500 BC. But throughout civilizations, an eclipse of the sun has always brought about on many people, no matter what gods they were worshiping, and it was reviewed or received as an omen. Well, I don't believe in omens, but I do believe in Bible prophecy. And Jesus, at the most critical hour for humanity, was on the cross, giving his life for our sins. And as he was dying, the sun turned dark. Now, the book of Joel tells us that before Jesus comes back again, the sun will become dark again. Let me read it to you. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 31. The sun shall be turned unto darkness, and the moon into blood. And we're going to have a blood moon on the 4th of April, which is Passover. It will be the third of the 4 blood moons. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. So we are living in very, very, very dangerous times, because we're living in the final days, last days. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We'll talk about it in today's live broadcast. And don't forget Sunday Night Live with Gil Broussard.